Hello and welcome to Urban Green, where we spotlight Southside environmental efforts and showcase different ways to get involved in sustainable living practices. I'm your host, Stacey Ellifrit, and today we're coming to you from Wright Park. This autumn edition of Urban Green is starting off with the Urban Learning segment, where we visit the Slater Museum of Natural History for a look at biological specimens from around the world.
There's a natural history museum that resides right on the campus of the University of Puget Sound. Being one of the few natural history collections in a college setting, the Slater Museum has given students an exciting opportunity for hands-on learning since 1930.
Historically, the museum was used for teaching here and also for research by students and professionals around the world. So they're like lending libraries. We send out specimens to people who are interested in using them for their research.
Home to approximately 85,000 specimens, this collection is unique, as it doesn't hold a lot of exhibits like a typical museum.
But one of the things that we try to do is make our collections available to schools and to the local community. And we do that in a few different ways. So one of the things we've done is we've developed these kits especially for 4th and 5th graders. They focus on local natural history and science. We basically have an AmeriCorps that brings those into the schools around Tacoma.
The museum also has monthly open houses during the school year that are open to the community and staffed by student volunteers. Tour opportunities are also available.
Egg collections were a big thing in the late 1800s and early 1900s. It was like baseball card collecting. And egg collections were the first kind of specimen that was used to look at human impacts on the environment. So eggshell thinning occurred as the result of DDT introduction, and peregrine eggs were used by researchers to show that eggshells started thinning right when DDT was introduced.
Visitors can get a first-hand look at some unusual specimens, not only from the Pacific Northwest, but from around the world.
One of the things that we have are pangolins, which are critically endangered. They're the African and Asian anteaters, and they look like gigantic pine cones. They're covered with scales that are made of keratin, which is the same stuff our hair is made of. They're slow, armored, big claws, long snout, long sticky tongue, suck up ants. But unfortunately, in Chinese traditional medicine, powdered pangolin scales are a cure-all for many, many different kinds of diseases. And that's led to them becoming critically endangered around the world.
Active collecting at the museum hasn't been used for some time, and most new specimens are salvaged animals. These specimens act as an important archive for research and education.
So this is a mountain beaver. Mountain beavers live in banks and they dig. A lot of homeowners really don't like them. And what most people don't know about mountain beavers is that they are host to the world's largest flea. They're about 1/3 of an inch long, and they crawl around them very slowly.
Researchers can access all of the museum's holdings online and can borrow specimens depending on their interests.
This is a typical bird specimen. You can see that the wings are folded back, and you can't really look at the feathers. So we decided to take off one wing off of each specimen, and here is a hummingbird wing spread, and here is a white pelican wing spread. You can see the tremendous difference.
Use of the collection can demonstrate other ways these specimens can be useful.
Museum specimens have DNA, so essentially not only are they collections of specimens, but they're collections of DNA. They can be used to look at contaminants. So we have students, for instance, looking at mercury concentrations through time in birds. Variants of atoms called isotopes can be used to look at diet, and so we have students looking at, for instance, the impact of urbanization on raccoon and opossum diets.
With a goal to engage, the Slater Museum of Natural History is dedicated to sharing its collections with the Puget Sound and Tacoma area communities.
The skulls are really important. Here is a skull of a mountain beaver. Mammalogists use the skulls to identify species, and they can also figure out what the animal's been eating. One of the questions that students often ask is, how do we get the flesh off the bones? If you guessed we use carrion-eating beetles, you're right.
Free classroom tours of this natural history archive can be arranged by contacting the museum. Visit their site for more information. After the break, we'll learn more about the Tree Coupon program that's assisting the city with their tree canopy goals. But first, the Urban Quick Tip will illustrate a natural cleaner that will help your garbage disposal stay fresh and clean. Welcome back. We're now headed over to the city's Urban Forest Nursery. It's here that we'll learn more about a program that offers discounts on residential tree purchases, as well as get a lesson on proper tree planting techniques.
Back again for the 2018-2019 season is a program that helps residents keep Tacoma green in their own backyard.
The Tree Coupon Program is an opportunity for Pierce County residents to participate in beautifying their neighborhoods through tree planting. The City of Tacoma partners with Tacoma Public Utilities and the Puyallup Watershed Initiative to offer a coupon for $30 off every tree purchased from select local retail nurseries.
Trees have many benefits. From providing shade during the summer and insulation during the winter, tree canopy is an important aspect to the health of a community for many reasons.
Trees are really important to our communities because they do things like provide stormwater and air quality benefits, they help reduce the urban heat island effect, they clean out a lot of the pollutants from our systems, and really they help support the health of our community. In the City of Tacoma, our current canopy covers about 19% of the land area. City Council adopted a goal in 2010 to improve our tree canopy cover from 19 to 30% canopy cover by the year 2030.
The Tree Coupon Program helps residents add to the city's canopy and is open September 1st through April 1st. Requesting a coupon is a simple two-part process.
Tree coupons can be requested at Tacoma's website, cityofTacoma.org/tree-coupon. Once the requests come into the city, we mail the tree coupon out with a packet of educational information about how to plant and maintain a tree, how to select the appropriate site and the appropriate species for your tree. Tree coupons are limited, so we do ask that anybody who requests a coupon does go out and redeem them, because any unredeemed coupon means that another person is not getting the tree from a coupon that they would have requested.
As with any tree planting, one of the most important measures of success is tree survivability. Proper planting can help get a newly planted tree off to a great start.
When digging your hole and preparing to plant, you want to get the bottom of the tree even with the ground or just slightly above. This is to account for settling and earth moving below the tree, and so we actually want it a little bit higher than one might expect. We have some great Tagro here to amend the hole, water, our shovel, some pruners if we need them, and of course mulch to finish off the planting. So you want to leave the tree in the pot before you start digging. This is to prevent the roots from drying out, especially on a day like today. But once you are ready to pull the tree out, don't be afraid to really rough up those roots. You want to get all this soil that came from the nursery off of the tree roots before it goes in the ground. They're not as delicate as you might think. Feel free to really get in there and work this soil off. Once you start working the soil off, you'll notice that the tree has roots that are really long and they're circling underneath the pot. So we need to get these unraveled and pulled out. There will be some that come off, that's all right. The tree can recover. But we do need to loosen these roots up, get the tree to spread out, and start adapting to the site that we're putting it into. We check for our correct height once again. Looks like we're just about there. Grab some Tagro, put some in the hole with the tree. I like to put the other piece in with the soil that we're going to backfill and just kind of mix it up. And then we backfill. Want nice, soft, loose soil around the tree for all these roots to grow through. Not compacted soil that'll prevent the tree roots from spreading. Now I've got about half of my soil backfilled in the hole. At this point, we're going to add some water to allow the air pockets underneath the tree to settle in naturally. Then we finish backfilling the hole. Before you finish planting, check your tree for the right height. Check that root flare, make sure it's level with the ground or slightly above. Backfill all your hole, and then grab some good mulch and spread it around the tree. This will help you prevent weeds from growing up, and this will also help retain moisture during the hot summer months. spread it all around where we disturb soil, keeping the mulch off of the tree bark. One of the best things about mulch is it keeps moisture in. So flare it back and spread it out nice and even. And then finish off with a healthy dose of water to get the tree going.
Participate in the Tree Coupon program for discounts on a residential tree purchase and plant a tree that will bring benefits for years to come.
For more information on the program and to request a tree coupon today, visit the city site. Coming up next is the Urban How-To. This do-it-yourself segment gives some helpful tips on potato planting.
So prior to doing this prep work for getting ready to plant potatoes, I did turn the bed 2 times and added 2 wheelbarrowfuls of organic compost. So that was done earlier. And then to get the potato bed ready, I use my handy dandy little measuring sticks again. And this is a 4 by 10 foot bed, so this can hold 30 potato plants. So the spacing in from the edges is 9 inches in from the edges, 12 inches apart lengthwise, and then the middle row goes right smack halfway in between the bed. For this bed it's 22.5 inches, and then the other row goes 9 inches in from the bed as well. So I've marked all the holes with just a little hand trowel, and then I'm starting down here. I've actually dug the holes with this nice handy little shovel because it's really easy to get down without having to do it. You can do it with a trowel, but it takes a lot longer. So you want to go about 8 to 9 inches deep. And then to prep the potatoes, I bought these at a nursery. They're seed potatoes. This particular variety is called Satina. It's a yellow potato that I think is better than Yukon Gold. And so I always cut them in half and then let them air dry for 4 or 5 days. They can go longer. It doesn't matter if you don't get to planting them. Nothing will happen to them. They'll just be drier. And this heals them over a little bit so that the damp potato isn't with the damp soil, so less chance of rotting, although typically they don't rot. They'll just grow. And then, of course, you can see all your little eyes that are going. So prepped these a few days ago, and then when I actually go to put them in the hole, I use 2 halves of a potato. And I kind of try and pair ones with fewer eyes with ones with more eyes. And you want to make sure the flat side is down when you put them in the hole. That way all the eyes are facing up. Less work to do when you're growing. And just put them so that they're flat in the hole, and then cover in your hole. And then we'll get 2 for this guy over here. Cover in this guy, and this is our marking hole for that one because I don't want to figure out where I'm going here. And then as you're digging your next hole, you can use that soil to fill in and keep going that way. Then you have some place to put the soil that you're making your new hole with. And I know there's different thoughts on potato growing. Some people like to hill, to hill or not to hill. In a raised bed, flat is just fine because basically the whole bed is like a hill because it's elevated. And I do have pumice in all my beds, and that really helps with drainage. Potatoes like really good drainage, but they also like a lot of humus, a lot of decayed material. So they like really rich soil, but good drainage. And a bed this size will typically produce anywhere from between 125 to 140 pounds of potatoes. So I've got the measurement going there, and pick out our 2 potatoes to plop in there. Dig our next hole. You just want to make sure that you're paying attention and you know which holes are filled with potatoes. Sometimes if you're working with more than one person and you're not keeping track, it's easy to think, uh-oh, did I already do that one? So you want to kind of do it in a systematic way so that you don't have to try and figure out if there's holes in that potato, if there's potatoes in that hole or not. Potatoes pretty much are, I don't even water them after planting them because they're so deep when you plant them that there's enough moisture down there to begin with, and they sprout no matter what. I mean, they're a sturdy plant. I mean, they're going to grow whether you do anything with them or not. So I never water these guys after planting because they're planted in February and March when we're getting plenty of rain anyway. And then as far as irrigation during the season, it's typically every 3 days, water deeply because these guys are deep down. And then usually in about August is when I cut back on the watering schedule, because that's when the potatoes are going to be fully formed underground, and then you don't want to keep adding moisture because you're going to have a problem potentially with wireworms coming up and attacking them. Let me go grab my rake from over there. I didn't bring it over here so I can smooth it out. So when you're all completely done with your bed, you want to get everything flat and smoothed over again. And I always go through, when I finish off with planting a bed or when I'm prepping it, I always go through and get out any of the little clumps. Because if they start drying and if your soil structure isn't great yet, the soil structure in these beds is pretty good because it's been 3 years now that they've been worked. When you first start out with a new bed though, you're not going to have that great of soil structure. It takes a few years to develop that. So you want to get any clumps out, because if they dry clumped, they're like concrete. So yeah, when you get done, I don't even water this, just leave it and the rain will water it. And that's pretty much all you got to do for planting potatoes.
These how-tos were created in partnership with the EnviroHouse Free Workshop Series, designed to support healthy, sustainable homes and gardens. For a full listing of workshops or to visit the EnviroHouse, check out the city site. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Urban Green. I'm Stacey Ellifrit, leaving you with more ways to engage in sustainable practices that are right for your lifestyle.